It's been revealed that 7 police forces in England and Wales allow criminals to be recorded as non-binary, meaning they do not consider themselves either male or female.
So, an investigation by the Sunday Telegraph this weekend revealed that 2 forces, Norfolk and Suffolk, allow offenders to register as unknown and unspecified, with a spokesman for both forces saying there were 67 different genders that people can present as.
Yes, well, Kellie-Jay Keen is a women's rights campaigner and founder of the Standing for Women campaign. She joins us now. Great to see you again. I can't even name more than 5 made-up genders. How on earth can you have 67 genders?
Well, you can't, basically, can you? It's ridiculous, nonsensical, quite embarrassing for something as serious as a police force to go along with. Just crazy.
Yeah, and that just... When I'm filling out, the equality monitoring forms or whatever, there are very sort of strict boxes in terms of, for example, ticking my ethnicity. I can't go around making up an ethnicity that doesn't exist because they have to track these things. So why are we allowing people to make up genders that are literally just made up out of the blue?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why are we doing it? I think there are threads of power and money woven right the way through this particular movement. And if you can go into a police force and you can have some just crazy diversity training that doesn't actually include people with disabilities and how they might work in the police force. It doesn't actually include the lack of representation of ethnic minorities, but it does include 67 genders. You can charge a few £100s for that, and then you can get them to sign up to a Mickey Mouse diversity and inclusion index, which Stonewall do. Then I think there's your answer. It's just money.
But what prison does a non-binary, two-spirit Labrador go to?
Well, I think it's the rainbow unicorn of prisons, probably.
Okay,
no
sorry,
idea.
yes, silly me. Sorry, no, now I look like a mug, don't I, on national television? Goodness gracious me. No, but, I mean, there are very real risks with this. I mean, just yesterday I saw a report about a man who's a woman, who's been done for having sex with a woman in a prison whilst they were getting smashed off illegal booze that they made in prison. I mean, what on earth is going on?
Well, I don't know, but who knew if you put a man in a woman's prison that he might actually then take advantage of women or take advantage of the opportunity to access women's bodies? Like what? I mean, half of the men that call themselves women in prison are on the sex offenders register. So they certainly shouldn't be in women's prisons. But, we have men's and women's prisons. We understand that men are more likely to commit violence, that men are more likely to commit sexual crimes. And so the erosion of these sort of very safe boundaries in which we record crimes can only hurt women. That's the only thing it can do.
No, exactly. And do you think that what this is now is a ridiculous fear of people who do not want to be seen as being transphobic? So I think sometimes we see situations take place where things like honour killings, for example, are not investigated, maybe always in the way that they could be, but they could because of things like a fear of being called racist or inflaming racial tensions, grooming gangs, of course, we know all about them. Is this a similar issue here, where we're kind of allowing people to identify as this, put them in situations that could be dangerous to women, etc., because people don't want to be seen to be transphobic?
Well, absolutely. And misogyny's never really been out of fashion, has it? So it's absolutely fine to hate women. It's fine to obliterate the safeguarding of children. So we're okay to hate women and children. But for goodness sake, let's not start hating men who call themselves women. Let's not start naming those men as men because we don't want to be accused of transphobic. I'm just really deeply shocked. More and more year on year, how people are happy to be labelled misogynist.
Yeah, and what do you think this kind of, I mean, we're talking about the police here, but, make no mistake, this is going on all over the place at the moment in terms of allowing people to identify as a whole host of genders. Tell us what you think, how you think this sort of thing could be abused, because we did have an email from a viewer and listener, Steve, who said, well, they'll just use all the categories every time they commit a different crime to confuse the system, because you won't be able to track who on earth it is. One day they'll be male, and the next day they'll be non-binary, and the next time they commit a crime, they'll be, I don't know, whatever the other ones are. It actually has quite dangerous consequences for potentially public safety.
Absolutely. Look, if I'm a violent sex offender and I want to continue to access women, then I'm going to say that I'm a woman and hope for a women's prison. If, the police say to us, you don't want your house burgled, shut the windows. And yet they are opening this sort of opportunity for predatory men to access all kinds of spaces. We know from criminals, right? We know from research, we know from just basic common sense that if you are a criminal, you will find any which way to commit crime. And so allowing these open doors for these criminals, it just doesn't make any sense, aside from saying, well, I'm happy to make it easier for this man to access a victim.
Yes, all right. Well, look, Kelly, thank you very, very much, as always, and keep fighting the good fight as well, of course. Kellie-Jay Keen there,
Thank you.
Who is campaigning for women, basically.